Hey, comic lovers, EMoney and the old man with you, and look who's back. Look who's back. Yeah, Thor the Dog of Thunder's back. Yeah, it's been a long winter without him, but now, days are getting warmer, and Thor is back with us here on Back Issues. Are you excited?
I tell you what gets him excited.
Yeah, you haven't seen Grandpa in a while. Good thing he has treats, right?
As soon as I run out of treats, he's going to eat my face.
All right, so in addition to Thor being back, we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about on the show today. This past weekend, the old man and I took a little trip to a local convention. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, I have some new comic book and sci-fi movie news for you. And we're going to be doing our comic reviews and previews. And then we're going to be giving you another preview for our upcoming pop-up comic book shop. And, at the end of the show today, we might do a little something special with Thor. What do you think?
What the hell are you going to do?
All right. Rikishi, you're on my list. This is Back Issues. Okay, that's right. We're still out here in the garage. Before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Tell us how cute Thor is, or you can tell us about your opinions on these comic book movies or these comic book reviews we're going to give you a little later, all right? We'd love to hear from you guys.
I wonder who the better co-host is, him or the old man. Never mind, I don't want to know.
All right, so first to some personal local news. This past weekend, the old man and I, we took a little trip to J-Town here in Louisville to LouisvilleCon. It was a small pop culture convention here in Louisville, and I'm going to tell you guys, the real reason I wanted to go, because I'm a bit of an autograph hound. I like to get autographs. I like to meet the celebrities at these shows. This convention didn't have a lot of the.
Okay. You said you're a bit of an autograph hound. No, it's not really a good description.
Okay, you have to get the autograph to talk to the celebrities. And talking to the celebrity, having the memory of the conversation, that's what's special, really. The autograph is just a reminder of, having talked to that celebrity.
He's got a huge autograph collection.
Yeah. So, this convention, it was small, so I didn't have a whole lot of, celebrities to want to meet. But they had one big one. WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi.
Yeah, big one is an understatement again.
Right. So we arrived at the convention, and when I first get there, I don't see Rikishi anywhere.
It'd be hard to miss, too.
Yeah. So I take a little stroll, the old man and I would take a stroll around the exhibition hall, and, we see some cool stuff and everything, but no Rikishi. So.
Nowhere to be seen.
Yep, so I started asking around, and I go to the front, and I say, do you know where Rikishi is? And they tell me that his flight got canceled. So, no Rikishi.
Nope.
So the whole reason I came to the show, don't get to meet him. So that's why Rikishi is on my list. But, so I say to the old man, all right, we need to do something to salvage this trip. And we do. So, we take a few trips around and we buy a couple of comic books, some of it for inventory, something I bought for my personal collection. So, show this off here. So, the dealer that we saw was he was at the Lexington Comic-Con last week or 2 weeks ago, and he had the biggest.
Well, this is the guy that's got 5 different copies of Hulk 181, 4 or 5 amazing Spiderman 129s. He did have an amazing Fantasy 15. When somebody says, let me see your Submariner number 1s, he didn't just pull one off the wall to show you. He pulls a hand, but it's a stack, and lets you pick.
So, as a comic book dealer, this guy's pretty humbling, because no matter how cool you think you are, you see his stuff, and you're just like, we're small time.
Well, keep in mind, we do work out of the garage, and we're only open 6 months a year and 4 to 5 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But anyways, I got a couple of small keys that I enjoyed. I have right here. I have Batman number 436, first appearance of Tim Drake. Then I have this one, Batman number 358, first appearance of Killer Croc. And they've both been on my list for a while, so now I get to scratch them off.
Now, they saw some of your other wants that are on.
Oh yeah, I have some of my long shot stuff that I want, like first appearance of Riddler, first appearance of Harley Quinn, first appearance of Poison Ivy. I mean, they're all on my list, and I saw them up there, but way out of my price range, so didn't get to take those home. All right, so that was LouisvilleCon. Disappointed, didn't get to meet Rikishi, but still made a pretty good day of it.
I mean, I saw a few customers of ours that we've been working with for years. We saw some of the dealers that we've known for years. It wasn't a waste.
Yeah, so pretty good Saturday all around. All right, so that is it for our personal local news. Now on to our comic book and sci-fi news. All right, so first up, we have our first kind of images of what, gosh, okay, I'm having a brain fart right now. Batman, Dark Knight.
What about it?
Christian Bale, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, like totally spaced for a second there. All right, we have our first look at what Christian Bale is going to look like in the upcoming Thor: Love and Thunder. All right, so they released a line of action figures for the Thor: Love and Thunder from Marvel Legends, of which we have a lot of Marvel Legends in our inventory, but they released the Thor: Love and Thunder line. So
don't have any of those yet, do
not
we?
yet, no. So, and I'm going to show you guys. Here is what Christian Bale character is supposed to look like based on the action figure.
Pretty creepy.
Yep. So pretty close to what the comic books depict him as. I mean, I assume there's going to be a lot of CGI involved in this character, but we'll see. So there's your first look at Christian Bale for Gore the God Butcher. All right, so that is Thor: Love and Thunder. Now we go to some news about the upcoming conclusion to the Jurassic series, Jurassic World Dominion.
What do you mean conclusion?
This is supposed to be the last one.
As long as people keep buying tickets, they'll keep making the movie.
All right, so this last week we got our first look at the new Mega Dinosaur set to debut in the conclusion to the Jurassic series.
What do you mean Mega Dinosaur?
All right, well, every movie since about Jurassic Park 3, they have to introduce a new dinosaur that I don't think actually existed in the dinosaur era, but they decided to cook up a bigger, cooler one in the lab.
So you're saying that the nut job scientists do stuff because they can?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not because they should, because you shouldn't.
I think you paraphrased Dr. Malcolm there, like all the way back to the first movie.
No. Let me explain something to you nut jobs out there. If anybody's there actually working on such a project, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the movies, make an intelligent decision, leave stuff alone.
And I remember there was an actual news report saying that we could be cloning dinosaurs in the next 5 years.
But we don't want to.
And somebody left in the comments, there is literally 5 movies explaining to you why this is a bad idea. All right, but back on topic here. So in Jurassic Park 3, there was the Spinosaurus. Then in Jurassic World, they not only made it bigger and gave it more teeth. They the Indominus Rex is what it was called. So they give him the basic body of a T-Rex with longer arms, by the way, the brain of a raptor, and then they also give him a chameleon feature. So it's like, who the hell needs all that? They mention that the chameleon feature was an accident.
Sure it was.
But
somebody knew they put some chameleon DNA in there, and they knew.
Yep.
They had to know.
Then in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, they go in a different direction. and instead of making the biggest dinosaur they could, they make a super raptor called the Indoraptor, of which this supposedly new and improved raptor falls short against Blue, of course.
Okay, so you're saying they're gonna make it? He's not gonna be bigger.
Actually, yeah, they went back to bigger.
So he is gonna be bigger.
Yeah.
So he's Godzilla.
Well, he does not seem. He seems a hell of a lot bigger than any T-Rex. Yeah.
Somebody get me giant-sized King Kong on the phone. We're gonna need some backup.
All right. So, in an interview, director Colin Trevorrow says this about the new Gigantosaurus, aka the Giga. Sounds a lot like Godzilla, right?
Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. I wanted something that felt like the Joker, he tells Empire. It just wants to watch the world burn.
You're telling me
So
they make a giant, non-existent, never existed, mutated monster, and then they mix him with comic books' most heinous, insane, dangerous villain that they could come up with.
I mean, what the hell does that mean? I mean, a dinosaur with a sick sense of humor? I mean, you know what? Reading this, I mean, you and I, we recently watched The Bubble on Netflix about making a movie during the pandemic. It was a sci-fi movie, actually, with, dinosaur-like creatures. If I had read this quote, I would have thought that it was someone playing a parody of a director, and some douchebag director is saying about some fictional movie, saying I wanted the dinosaur to be like the Joker. But no, it's an actual quote from a director of a Jurassic World movie. So yeah.
Thank God it's a movie.
Mm-hmm. So
it needs to stay a movie.
So we'll see what comes of that, because Jurassic World Dominion is set to hit theaters on June 10th. All right, so that about does it for our comic book and sci-fi news. Now, the old man and I, we're going to head back inside to give you your comic book reviews, because we can't do comic books out here with Thor. But we're going to check back in here with Thor a little later. All right. All right, we're going to check back in with Thor in just a little bit. So before we go into today's comic reviews, I have a little extra segment I'm throwing in here that I hadn't planned on doing. So,
he's going to vent?
Yep, I got a little rant to do here.
Sorry.
So I myself am a big fan of the show Pawn Stars. I think it's good, wholesome entertainment, and it's educational. Every item that comes into the store, Rick's got a little history lesson for you. So this video is about 4 years old, but I recently rewatched it, where
and got all fired up.
Yeah, I got a little upset. So this lady comes in with a comic book collection. It's about 7 boxes, and she comes to Chumlee and says she wants to sell it. It belonged to her father, and her and her brother split it, so she inherited half of the collection. So, she says she wants to sell it, and Chum pulls out just a couple comic books really quick. Among the ones he pulls out initially are Tomb of Dracula, number 58, and Avengers Annual, number 10, first appearance of Rogue. So, the doorman says to Chum that he needs to, call Paul, their comic book expert, and find out about these comic books. Well, Chum, he sees the collection, and, he sees the value in it, and he decides he's going to take a chance. So he offers the lady $50 a box, which would come to $350. Well, the lady manages to talk Chum up to $500. So they make the deal and they shake on it. So then, it goes to the next scene, and Paul, the comic book expert, has looked at the comic books. And he's got like a little stack of comic books that he pulled out.
18 of them.
18 comic books.
Out of over probably like 2,000 comics?
Oh, probably over 2,000. So, among those comic books, in addition to the 2 I just said, you had Doctor Strange, Master of the Mystic Arts, number 1. You had Howard the Duck, number 12. Avengers, number 196, first appearance of Taskmaster. Nova, number 1. The 2008 Hulk, number 1, first Red Hulk. And then Howard the Duck, number 1. Now, there were several from the stack. He kind of like spread them out. There were several in the stack that I couldn't identify. These are just the ones that I could pick out.
I was able to pick out a couple of those that he couldn't initially identify. They were worth, $3 to $5.
Right. So, from that stack, the guide says that it's worth about $200. Then he asked what the rest of the comic books are worth. Rick asked what the rest of the comic books are worth. And Paul says they're worth about a nickel a piece. So, you count all that up, $200 for the stack that he showed them, a nickel a piece for everything else, comes out to about $305. I have never heard of a more ridiculous, ludicrous evaluation of comic books in my life. So, of the 9 comic books that I could identify, I looked up the prices, and keep in mind there were more in that stack that I couldn't pick out. Mint condition price, $953. Now, obviously, I can't really evaluate the condition of the books based on the video, so let's cut that value in half. The value would be $476.50. So that right there just about covers the price that Chumlee paid for it. Now, let's talk about those other comic books that he says are worth about a nickel. I have never...
This is the part that kills me.
Yeah, I have never heard of any comic book selling for less than 50 cents. And we're talking like bargain basement, flea market, peddler's mall, bargain prices, 50 cents, bare minimum. The old man and I, our cheap boxes are $1 at our comic book sale.
And to be honest, this is the first year we've put them at $1, and that's purely because the prices of bags and boards have gone up so high.
Yeah, so a nickel is utterly ridiculous. So even if all those other comic books come out to 50 cents a piece, that's $1,050 plus the almost $500 that they picked out from the ones that I saw. So right there, they easily triple the money that Chumlee spent on the collection. So, Chumlee, and I don't know why he would ever watch this, but if he ever did, you did not screw that up. Paul, you need to fire Paul because he has no idea what he's talking about. No comic book that is all together is worth 5 cents.
I mean, if it's toilet paper and it's been water damaged,
sure,
it's not worth anything.
Yeah.
If a comic book is only worth a nickel, then screw it, it's not worth anything.
Yeah. I mean, if the pawn stores are still selling comic books at their shop for 5 cents a piece, we need to rent a U-Haul, drive out to Vegas, and pay him a visit. All right, so, fire Paul. That's my rant.
Well, when he gets a bug up his butt, man.
I mean, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing watching that video. All right, so on to our let's turn it over into our comic book reviews. All right, now if you've never seen us do this before, we grade comics on a 5-shield rating system. We each give them 2 grades, one for writing and story and the other one for artwork. And then we combine the 4 scores together to give it an average overall score. All right, now first is our mentions this week. And we don't call them honorable mentions because sometimes we have something negative to say.
I mean, what's our definition of mentions anyway? Something we want to yak about.
We want to talk about it.
All right. So, could be good, could be bad. We're going to start this week off with one that's bad.
Okay.
First off, Marvel. What are you doing? What's wrong with your paper quality? It's inconsistent. One title will be this. It's all wrinkly and the paper just feels flimsy.
I mean, I thought it had gotten wet.
No, it didn't. I mean, I might be able to press all this out, but what happened? What did you change? Why did you change it? And go back and unchange it. At any rate, Spider-Punk #1 is our first mention of 2 this week.
All right. So Spider-Punk takes place in an alternate universe in which Spider-Man is the Spider-Punk. And we start off with him fighting a street battle with Kraven and his goons. And in this version, Kraven is apparently a neo-Nazi type.
He's definitely a mercenary.
Yep. And Spider-Punk's partner is a guy who dresses a lot like Captain America, but is actually called Captain Anarchy. and his name is Carl Morningdew, a Native American. So, they fight Kraven and his goons are using advanced technology that they don't normally have. So once they beat them up, they decide they need to figure out where they're getting their tech from. And they come to the local community center, otherwise known as the Spider Base, according to Spider-Punk.
Yeah, but evidently he's the only one who calls it that.
Yeah. So they get some help from their tech person, who is also, I guess, their version of Iron Man, but it's a girl. And
nothing wrong with her being a girl. What do you got to point that out for? What's wrong with you?
Well, I said Iron Man, and I have to point out that it's a girl. Okay, so Kraven decides to attack them a second time in a day, so they have to go and take care of that.
That seems kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You just got your ass kicked, so now you go get some more of your boys and you come back.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, we talked about the quality of the actual paper, which is really weird. The artwork is really subpar. I mean, there are some panels where the artwork is almost passable, but then I look at a few other images, and I'm going to show you one here in just a second, and the quality goes down significantly. And I thought the story was decent. I mean, the old man, he doesn't like the multiverse, so
not at all.
So having a different version of Spider-Man here, he's not a big fan of. Story was all right. I just couldn't get past the artwork. So that being said, Spider-Punk #1 ends up with 2.5 shields rounded up. Is that accurate?
Yep. And
all right.
One more thing I could say good about this book. Speaking of multiverse, Spider-Ham was not in it.
Okay. That's always a plus for the old man.
Oh. Frog of Thunder and Spider-Ham. Oh, I hate them. All right, next up from AWA. They've put out a lot of good books in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
This is The Joneses, and it's #1 of 5. All
right. So The Joneses is kind of a familiar story that we've all probably heard of before, where a sickness happens. Some people get sick, a lot of people die, but from that sickness, people start popping up with superpowers. And
not everybody.
Yeah, not everybody, but a few people, and they call them reborns. And a lot of people, they start getting scared, and Stan Lee and the X-Men, they tried to tell us this story over 50 years ago. People fear what they don't understand, and same thing here, because people are having these community meetings and community outreach programs, and they're talking about all these superpowers, these reborns. Some of them go some of them want to hide and pretend it's not happening. Others want to go the superhero route, and others want to become super villains and start knocking over banks. Well, the normal citizens are getting scared, and the Joneses, the family that we follow in this story, one of the neighbors comes to them and shows them this flyer. And the flyer is, reborns in our community. It could be any one of us. Stay vigilant with citizens against reborns. So right away, the neighborhood wants to take a stance against reborns, whether they're good or bad, and report them to the government, I guess, and register. So, right away, it's a message of hate. So, it's kind of scary, the reflection of society, and we think we've come so far, and then still stuff like this happens. Same thing that happened with Poland and the Nazis and the Jews and all that stuff.
When it comes to the human race, we definitely like to repeat our history.
Yep. All right, so really good character study here, and also there's inner conflict within the Jones family, because they are all disagreeing about what they want to do about their new powers. So the Joneses, it's a mini-series, #1 of 5 from AWA, and we gave that one 3.5 shields. 3.5 shields out of 5. All right, so there are your mentions for this week. Now on to our top 3.
Alrighty. this is number 3, and yeah, there was a 3-way tie this week. 3-way tie, 3 ways, 3 books that got the exact same score, which was 4 shields after it was rounded up. So, to break the tie, we decided to play pickleball. Well, I've played pickleball. I played a lot of paddleball. I even play handball. So, pickleball is just it's badminton with a giant ping pong paddle and a harder ball, and it's played pretty much just like badminton is. And EMoney's never played, so I had the advantage. And to be honest, the advantage seemed to fade the longer we played because he started getting better and I didn't get any better. I still managed to eke out a win, but it got kind of scary toward the end, you son of a buck. But at any rate, so if you don't like the order of these 3 books, tough. This was the old man's week, so hey. All right, number 1. What was the book we read last week that started off a new story arc?
Shadow War.
Shadow War, okay. And this is Batman number 122, which is a continuation of the Shadow War storyline.
All right. So, Deathstroke, Slade Wilson has been framed for the murder of Ra's al Ghul. And Talia al Ghul has decided to declare war on Slade Wilson and anyone who follows him.
And it turns out right now Deathstroke has an entire corporation. He's just like Batman Inc. And I don't like Batman Inc. So
I know.
I don't particularly care for this, but whatever.
So Slade is kind of caught in the middle, or not Slade. Slade's, he's not in the middle. He's right in the thick of it. And him and his son are on the run. And then Batman and Robin, who are caught in the middle, because Robin is trying to find the person who murdered his grandfather, and Batman, of course, knows that there's something more to it than this. So also, Batman goes to speak to Talia, and he's stopped by her guards, her ninjas, League of Assassins.
Did you say he stopped?
Well, they try to stop him,
there you go,
and they don't have much luck. And it kind of makes me wonder. It's like, your ninjas, your League of Assassins, supposed to be among the best in the world.
The elite.
Yeah, and a whole group of you can barely slow Batman down.
I don't know. They did slow him down.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know if I'd expect you to win, but I'd expect you to do something.
Make him at least limp.
When he finally gets to Talia, have him breathing hard or something.
Yeah, but not this time.
No, so I don't get it. I mean, maybe they need more training or something. I don't know.
A bunch of sissy ninjas.
Yeah. So Batman tries to appeal to Talia to find out what's really going on, whereas Robin is convinced that Slade actually did the deed.
Well, Robin's a bit of a hothead.
Yeah, and after seeing his grandfather be killed, it's going to make him even more angry. So, pretty good story here. Also, you get a backup story that goes back to when Dick Grayson first becomes Robin, and we see Batman meet Deathstroke for the first time.
It was a pretty well-written story.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff, and great artwork on both stories. All right, so Batman number 122, our number 3 pick for this week, with 4 shields rounded up. All right, next up.
Next up, as often as we get Scorched and Gunslinger Spawn in our top books, you think maybe we might want to pick up a copy of Spawn somewhere?
I don't know.
I just feel like we'd be lost. I mean, 300 or 400 issues later, we're going to start?
Yeah.
I don't know. At any rate, our number 2 pick this week is The Scorched, number 4.
All right. So, this guy who has been the enemy of the team of the Scorched for a long time says that he can get them, or a lot of them, back to their original times. Gunslinger Spawn and Medieval Spawn are, both in the wrong timeline.
Way out of their time zone.
Yeah. So this guy says he can get them back, and Spawn Prime is not having it because he is sure that he's lying. So he gets into a bit of a scuffle with Gunslinger Spawn. And, Spawn learns that Gunslinger might not be as weak as he thought he was. So they have this whole, inner turmoil among their group. But, they realize near the end of the issue that they should probably put their differences aside because there's a big bad coming for them all. And they need to deal with that. So, I told you guys before, Todd McFarlane knows how to pick his artists because there's always great artwork in the Scorched and also in Gunslinger Spawn, which we read.
I mean, I think he just gets guys that have idolized him over the years and they draw like he does.
Yep. So, great stuff here. Scorched, number 4, our number 2 pick for this week, ends up 4 shields rounded up. All right, so we're kind of covering the big 3 this week because in our top 3 we've got DC, Image, and now we've got Marvel.
All right, so Marvel's book this week, the number 1 spot, is the final issue in the 6-part miniseries, Devil's Reign.
Mm-hmm. So the conclusion has superheroes and supervillains battling it out on the streets. Several of Fisk's people are the Thunderbolt team that he has deputized, mostly deputized villains. But also, he has several superheroes under his influence using Purple Man power. And if you don't know how Purple Man works, he can make people do just about whatever he says.
If you don't know how the Purple Man's powers work, I recommend you watch Season 1 of the Netflix series Jessica Jones, and you'll see David Tennant play the best role I think he's ever played. And definitely, he captures the Purple Man dead on.
Mm-hmm. But that series is now on Disney+, so you're going to have to watch it there. All right, so also in this story, Fisk, recently had his memories restored, and he knows that Matt Murdock is Daredevil, and that he had his memories erased previously. So he's out for blood, and he ends up killing Mike Murdock, Matt Murdock's son, because Mike has been pretending to be Matt for a long time, back when Matt was in prison as Daredevil. And I've said before, I don't know how he convinced the courts to let him keep his mask on and be Daredevil while he was in prison, but that's neither here nor there. So he kills him, and Matt finds out about it, and now he's out for blood. So they have this big throwdown with Elektra fighting Mary, Fisk's wife.
Typhoid Mary, when they try to get away.
So when Matt gets the upper hand, he grabs Fisk's cane. Fisk's cane has Purple Man power stored in it. So he can, activate the cane to get people to do what he wants. So
I'm not sure how all that kind of stuff works.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So Daredevil gets the cane, and he says he wants to make Fisk suffer. And there's a really scary point here where using his Purple Man voice, Daredevil says, "I want you to think about all of the lives you've destroyed." So he's forced to think about it. And it affects him for about a second, and then he says, "Done." And that kind of throws Daredevil. Like all the people he's destroyed over the years, forced to think about it, and it barely even phases him. And Daredevil says he's evil. He needs to go down. So Daredevil has what should be a final confrontation with Fisk, and Elektra is there to guide his hand. You would say
she's his Jiminy Cricket,
which is really ironic.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever Daredevil's done, Elektra's done like 10 times worse, probably. So the conclusion to Devil's Reign, and we see the fate of Fisk here. Devil's Reign number 6 of 6, the epic conclusion, our number 1 pick for this week with 4 shields rounded up. All right, so there's our picks for last week's releases. Get them at your local comic book shop. Now, what do we have coming out today?
All right, well, looks like a light week for us. You've got Flashpoint Beyond number 0, beginning of a new DC story. One of our favorites, Noctera, number 9 comes out. You like Evil Ernie? Well, Evil Ernie number 5 will be here. And the next Miles Morales What If comes out.
All right. So some good stuff there. All right, so there is our comic book previews. Now let's turn it over and show you guys what we have in store for you for our pop-up comic book shop. All right, so we told you guys last week that we were considering opening up our first sale of the spring this coming Saturday, and we've checked the weather report, and it turns out that is not going to be feasible.
A little bit too cold for the old man.
Yeah. So we have 2 more Saturdays. The Saturdays are
Let's see. We're not going to be open on the 16th,
right,
which is this coming Saturday.
So we have the 23rd and the 30th
as possibilities.
Right.
Keep watching the channel. We'll let you know. And no matter what the weather does, Mother Nature, you slut, no matter what the weather does, we'll be open on May the 6th at the very latest.
May the 6th?
May the 6th. No, May the 7th.
7th.
First Saturday in May.
Okay. Absolute latest, May 7th. All right.
Could be the 2 weeks before that. We'll see.
All right. Also, we told you guys a lot about what we're going to be selling. We have really great inventory of comic books, all starting. Our cheap bins start at $1, and they go up from there.
That's right, Rick. Pawn Star Rick. They start at $1. That's the cheapest thing we sell. Nickel my ass.
Yeah. And we have a lot of great key issues, and I'm going to show you a few of them in just a second here. And they go from, start at $1 and they go up to into the hundreds. So, whatever your price range is, we'll have something for you. Also, we're going to have all kinds of toys. We told you guys we've accumulated a great inventory of toys, and we're not going to have enough room to show everything. So
it's going to rotate pretty much every week. We'll take last week's inventory, put it back up, get out a new week's worth.
Every week we'll have something new. So come back every week. And if you're not really a collector and you're just looking for something to take home to your kids or for yourself and play with, we do have a lot of that stuff too. A lot of our Marvel Legends figures. The person that we bought them from previously, he cut the blister open and he pulled the comic book out. So the prices on those have been reduced to reflect that.
For the most part, they are complete. They're just missing the comic book.
Right. So those cost about $10 to $20, give or take. Also, we have cheaper stuff. We have stuff that's loose that you can open up and play with. And also, if you're a Star Wars collector, we do have a couple Star Wars items from the late 90s up that started around $4. So, stuff from pretty much any price range. And also, we have DVDs and Blu-rays for sale. All right, so among those comic books, what do we have? So I have just 3 comics here that I'm going to show you guys that will be available for sale. First up, we have The Mighty Thor, number 126, a classic cover with Hercules versus Thor.
It's also the first issue that was called Thor, because all the way through Journey into Mystery number 83 through 120 through 125, it was Journey into Mystery, and then they turned it into Thor.
All right. So, also, we have a pretty decent inventory of semi-early Amazing Spider-Man issues.
What do you mean by semi-early?
Well, sadly, we don't have any Ditko issues, which I believe he went up to issue number 37, I want to say. And we do have a lot of John Romita Seniors, though, which is the guy who took over for Ditko after he left. So, including this one, we have The Amazing Spider-Man number 48, which is the first appearance of Blackie Drago as the Vulture. So, have that, and a couple other, cool Amazing Spider-Man issues as well. And, we have your DC stuff covered, too. We have Green Lantern, Green Arrow, number 116. This is the first appearance of Guy Gardner as Green Lantern. So, pretty cool stuff there. And, like I said, we have all kinds of other cool key issues available for sale.
Now, the comic books, we don't rotate. They're there every week.
I mean, well, we might get new stuff in, but all of our inventory is going to be out there. All right, so there are your comic book previews. Now on to some of our toys. Now, these first two, we just got in this past week. We have, we got a bit of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer collection in. This is from More Action Collectibles. This one is Buffy. And also, if you're looking to collect the whole set, we have Willow, Oz, and Giles available. So, complete your set there. Then, we have this one. This is from Big Blast. This is Hellboy, and it's based on the original Mike Mignola's artwork. So, pretty cool there. So, Buffy versus Hellboy, who do you think would win?
Well, Buffy would do okay until he got her with the gun.
So I think, I just feel like, he would start off with the gun, but, it would get down to hand eventually.
Well, I think she'd have a hard time hurting him.
Yeah. So,
Didn't you meet Hellboy recently?
Yeah, I did. Met Ron Perlman at LouisvilleCon. A pretty cool guy, and now I have a Hellboy picture to hang up on my wall.
You got a Buffy picture?
I have a Buffy poster. I have a Buffy poster, and I've had it signed by a lot of the cast, but not Sarah Michelle Gellar, sadly. I actually, of all of those 4 characters that I mentioned that we have figures of, I don't have any of those guys.
Well, in that case, advantage Hellboy.
Yeah. So, got that. And then we have this gift set here, this box set.
This is awesome.
Yeah, we have Spider-Man Monster Mayhem set right here. This is a pretty cool collection. It has 3 versions of Spider-Man. It has Spider-Man, it has 6-armed Spider-Man, and then when he has fully transformed, if you remember that story, he has transformed into the Man-Spider. And then we have the monsters here. We have Kraven, the Lizard, and Morbius. And then also we have the Punisher. Then you have an exclusive figure to this set, the J. Jonah Jameson figure.
Now, you guys could tell me I'm wrong, but I don't remember any other J. Jonah Jameson figure.
Yep. So, pretty cool stuff here. And we have, several different box sets that are going to be available for sale.
But this one's awesome.
This one's pretty cool. We have several sets, both DC and Marvel sets. So, check us out. Like we said, first Saturday in May, absolute latest. Stay tuned for updates. All right. So, that covers our sale preview. Now, let's head back out into the garage. I got a little something special planned with Thor. All right, back out here in the garage with Thor, and I want to do something a little special with Thor every week, as long as the weather holds out. So this is our doggy challenge video of the week. All right.
Come on, sit, sit. Is any of that on camera?
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. So what's going on the channel? Well, as you know, as we've shown you, we have our garage sale, our pop-up comic book shop that is set to come very soon. Very soon. Like we said, at the absolute latest, the first Saturday in May. All right, so we have that coming up, and also don't forget to check out our reaction videos. We have Moon Knight that we're reacting to right now, and that's a new episode is going to come out later today. And also, Obi-Wan Kenobi is set to come out very soon. We're going to be doing our reaction videos to that. Looking forward to it. And a lot of other cool stuff coming out later this year. All right, so don't forget to subscribe for more content, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Excelsior.
True believers, we need some good weather. Give us some crossed fingers and stuff.